These are the stories topping the news this hour. It's Independence Week in St. Kitts and Nevis. The OECS is asking Antigua and Barbuda to pay up, and oil is now at the heart of the Scottish independence debate. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, 15th September 2014. I'm Ebony Brandon. Now for a look at the news developments in detail. It is Independence Week in St. Kitts and Nevis, and the activities to mark the nation's 31st anniversary are on a roll. This evening, members of the Gender Affairs Department will host a panel discussion addressing a progressive gender policy. Tonight's discussion will be broadcast live on ZIZ Television. On Tuesday, National Heroes Day, residents and visitors will learn who this year's National Heroes honorees are through the National Honors announcement also on Tuesday. Several communities will participate in the community flag raising exercise. That activity will be followed by the annual wreath-laying ceremony at the RLB Community Park in St. Paul's at 9 a.m. On Thursday, September 18th, the island's schools will host their patriotic programs and receive treats, and civil servants will participate in the Civil Service Fun Day. The Independence Pomp will continue on Thursday night when nationals assemble at Warner Park for the ceremonial parade. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas will also deliver his Independence Day message and raise a toast to the nation. Friday, September 19th is Independence Day, and the activities will continue from Thursday night into the wee hours of Friday morning from 7 to 9 p.m. The Governor General's reception will be staged at Government House. The Brimstone Hill Fit and Fearless Run, a drill competition, and a gospel concert are all planned for Saturday, September 20th. Independence 31 is being observed under the theme A Nation on the Move, celebrating our progress. For Joanne Kelly, Public Relations Officer at Kittition Hill, Saturday's tree planting exercise meant more than just planting trees. It meant promoting healthy lifestyles and sustainable growth and creating a sense of community togetherness. Kelly made these remarks at Saturday morning's ceremony to mark the start of National Tree Planting Day.
Today, after we've planted these trees, we have to make sure that the maintenance of them is secured. How we'll be able to measure our success is in a few years when we see these trees reach to fruit-bearing stage. And also, for those who will take back in their homes and plant these different trees in their yards, we're really looking forward to it. We're thinking this would also bring together the community and create a stronger sense of national pride.
According to Public Relations Officer Kelly, Kittition Hill donated 200 trees from its nursery and bought 150 fruit trees from local nurseries around the island to support Saturday's tree planting exercise. The company also secured a substantial donation from its overseas partners. St. Kitts and Nevis was represented at the 17th Annual Caribbean Postal Union Conference from September 8th to 11th. Postmaster General Ms. Sandra Donovan and Deputy Postmaster General Darian Vieira attended the meeting, which was formally opened by Bermuda's Premier and Minister of National Security, Honorable Michael Dunkley. The theme of the conference was Sustainability in the 21st Century, and the sub-theme, Repositioning the Caribbean Post. The conference deliberations examined the global challenges emanating from the electronic age in which Caribbean postal administrations operate, considered potential solutions to mitigate those challenges, and provided options for repositioning Caribbean postal administrations for sustained future growth. Now for a look at regional developments, Antigua and Barbuda's debt to the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, is in arrears of just over $4.8 million, thus curtailing its voting rights in the organization. The 7 countries which make up the body are each required to pay the organization $182,585 monthly to maintain membership, but Antigua and Barbuda has not made its contributions for about 27 months, as the quantum of the arrears show. On September 12, 2014, the financial controller of the OECS Secretariat, Nicholas DeVoe, wrote to the country's finance ministry demanding payments on arrears as of June 30th, which amounts to $4.4 million. Prime Minister Gaston Brown yesterday told Antigua's Observer Media the government would seek to address the matter soon, but he did not say how soon the country would be able to make the payments and whether the funds would come from the Treasury, which government repeatedly says is cash-strapped. Hundreds of executives from Latin America, the Caribbean, and China are recently gathered together in 8th Chinese, Latin American, and Caribbean Business Summit. The summit was hosted in Changsha, China, which focused on opportunities for businesses from both regions. The summit was organized by the Inter-American Development Bank, the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, the People's Bank of China, and the government of Henan Province. China joined the Inter-American Development Bank as a shareholder in 2009 and is now the top trade partner for several countries in the region, including Brazil and Chile. St. Lucia's Ministry of Health held an Ebola sensitization exercise which was conducted with key national security agencies. Public health authorities have introduced a cross-sector strategy aimed at preventing and/or dealing with any suspected cases of Ebola reaching the nation's ports of entry. We hear more in this report.
Bagananan holds the responsibility for port health in St. Lucia. He says the meeting with key stakeholders is timely as the Ministry of Health articulates its Ebola prevention plans. He says while the finer points are important, it is equally crucial that officials understand their roles and responsibilities.
Health security is national security, and therefore we have always realized that the thrust of the health of the nation is not just a Ministry of Health responsibility, it's a national responsibility. But in dealing with Ebola, and clearly under the Quarantine Act of St. Lucia, there are clear guidance that is given to several agencies. Especially important is the police. If you have somebody who are going to resist a course of action, it may mean that you need the police intervention to deal with the matter.
The meeting was attended by representatives from the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Immigration Department, St. Lucia Fire Service, Customs and Excise Department, SLASPA, Foreign Affairs, and officials from the Ministry of Health. Inspector of Police attached to the Immigration Department, Lucius Lake, says law enforcement plays an integral role in implementing the preventative measures outlined by the Ministry of Health.
I feel better informed that I could now go back and inform all staff members with the Immigration Department on a way forward, the safety concerns they had or security concerns, and also with the inject of SLASPA with what is going to be done or what can be done to ensure that the immigration officers are a little safer at the ports of entry, both air and sea ports.
The multi-agency approach adopted by the state allows all stakeholders to be equally informed of the strategies to combat the threat and any emergence of the Ebola virus.
In international developments, North Sea oil is at the heart of the Scottish independence debate. They're debating the issue of whether the oil belongs to Scotland or should the rest of the UK continue to benefit from the profits. Lawrence Lee reports from Scotland's energy capital, Aberdeen.
The granite city they call Aberdeen, and on the east coast here it's often bitterly cold and unremittingly grey. But this place has been basking in the economic sunshine for years that oil has provided. Kenny runs a successful construction company, yet he supports independence from the UK because he thinks so much of the profit has been wasted by London.
Oil was discovered in the late 1960s when I was a teenager, and ever since I was a teenager they've been saying the oil is running out. So that stifled development and opportunities. I think we could have had a much stronger economy in the northeast of Scotland had the infrastructure investment and encouragement from the UK Treasury been stronger.
The two sides in this debate over the future of the United Kingdom agree that Scotland could survive as an independent country. But oil, energy and Scotland's future income have been a source of endless, furious debate. It's been absolutely central to the argument of the Scottish National Party that the seas there are still full of oil and that the profits from Scottish oil should go to Scotland and not London. And yet the Unionists insist, as they have for many years, that those optimistic forecasts are simply a lie and that the oil's running out. Really, it's all a metaphor for the big question Scotland faces. Is this country, as the Unionists say, really quite poor, or as the Nationalists insist, really quite rich? One day the oil will run out, that much is certain, but its replacements could be every bit as lucrative. This stretch of water in the far north of Scotland will create the world's biggest tidal energy scheme. There are other similar and very large renewable energy projects throughout. After all, a windy country surrounded by crashing seas looks very profitable indeed.
we could be seeing tens of thousands more people employed in these fields and much more development of these resources. So I think it's a case of the level, let's see, dependent on the level of our ambitions.
500,000 children return to school on Sunday in the Gaza Strip, where they will undergo psychological counseling before regular classes. At least 250 schools and about 90 United Nations educational facilities have been damaged due to the war. Almost 30 schools have been destroyed. We hear more in this story.
There are 1,300 girls that have returned to this girls' school, this UN-run girls' school here in Gaza City, on the first day of school since the war ended. And I've been talking to the headmaster here, and she tells me that certainly for the first 3 weeks or so of this new year, because of the war, they're going to do a psychological assessment of the girls. There's a feeling that a lot of them were very traumatized. We know that at least one was killed during the war and a number injured. So certainly for the first 3 weeks or so, there's going to be a lot of activities involving art, sport and entertainment in a bid to try and figure out just how deeply affected these girls are. So the students have come to their classes now, and what they're doing here is playing games, just getting to know each other here on the first day of school to try and relax their minds before classes start properly. And as you can see, there's massive overcrowding in this classroom anyway. There's 49 students here. But bear in mind that 26 UN schools remain closed and are still being used as shelters for people who fled the fighting, whose homes have been destroyed. And this school in particular is expecting a lot more students in the coming days. Now, the UN says that 76 UN schools across Gaza were damaged during the war. But it's worth remembering that the situation here was difficult for Gazan students anyway, even before the war. The UN says that it has plans on building 100 new UN schools here to try and accommodate the students here. But that was being made difficult by the siege, by getting materials, building materials across the border. Now, the war has made things even more difficult in trying to get a good education for literally hundreds of thousands of students across the Gaza Strip.
Now for a look at today's weather, we'll see mostly cloudy skies with a 50% chance of showers approaching. Winds will be blowing from the east at 10 to 15 miles per hour, with temperatures reaching a high of 30 degrees and a low of 25 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, expected to see partly sunny skies. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us at 6:30 p.m. on 96.1 FM and 7 p.m. right here on ZIZ Channel 5 for the evening news. I'm Ebony Brandon. Good afternoon.